Before I start this review, there's something very important that I need to point out to you with this 2021 Mazda CX-9. So I'm in Canada and this is a Canadian car, and for 2021 the top models, the Signature, the GT, they come with the 9-inch touchscreen with the previous generation software that you'd find in the last generation Mazda 3 or something like the current CX-5. But with the American 2021 models, top versions of their CX-9 will come with a 10.25-inch widescreen touch list display that is along the same design pattern as the new Mazda 3, the new CX-30. I think that's incredibly important to point out to you now, as it is very strange that a 2021 model between Canada and the US differs with such a small feature like that. So please know that going into this video, and hopefully with the 2022 model year of the Canadian CX-9, we'll be able to see that same 10.25-inch screen in this vehicle. But for now, that's not possible with the 2021 CX-9. So now that you know that, please enjoy this video. Welcome everybody to Mazda's 2021 CX-9 Kuro Edition. Now, to get the first few important bits out of the way, the Kuro Edition is an extra $1,000 appearance package added onto the GT trim. What that gets you is blacked out 20-inch rims, a few other blacked out elements like the wing mirrors and the grille, and on the inside metallic black finishing where you'd typically expect the silver finishing in some of the higher end Mazdas, and the beautiful red leather on all 3 rows of the seats. Now, it's been quite a while since I've tested out the CX-9, and quite a few changes have come along in the years since I last tested out a 2019 model, so we're going to bring up the changes that have happened since I've tested out this vehicle and then place this car in my ranking system to see if it still holds its segment leader ranking in my ranking system. So the changes that have come to the CX-9 since I last tested it out were, in 2020, they added an extra 10 pound-feet of torque, bringing the number from 310 to 320, and still offer 2 different horsepower ratings depending on which fuel you're putting in to your CX-9. If you're going for regular, it's 227 horsepower, and if you're putting in premium fuel, then it's 250. Are you really going to notice that 23 horsepower difference? I seriously doubt you will, but it is quite cool that Mazda is implementing this different horsepower system. I don't know of them doing it in any of their other vehicles, and any manufacturers doing it on really any of their vehicles either. In 2020, a few more additional pieces of equipment and technology were now available across the range. So for the higher end trims, a new 9-inch touchscreen was available, a wireless phone charging dock, and a few other things in the lower trim levels. But the most notable new option was a $300 charge to turn the second row of seating into captain chairs. But for 2021, we see the introduction of the Kuro Edition, that extra package that's added onto the GT trim, and then added onto the Signature trim is the 100th anniversary editions, which we're seeing in pretty much all of Mazda's lineup. The Kuro Edition is exclusive to the CX-9, the CX-5, and the Mazda 6. One thing that just hasn't been messed with is the Mazda's driving experience. This is easily more than a few degrees above anything else in its class in terms of driver dynamics. The only engine available is that 2.5-litre 4-cylinder turbocharged engine with a 6-speed automatic transmission and all-wheel drive. For such a small engine, it's really quite torquey, has a nice punch to it, and with the 6-speed automatic transmission, even though it isn't as modern or as efficient as the 10 speeds or the 9 speeds that we'd see in quite a few of its competitors, it's incredibly refined, very quick to react, and you can change the gears manually if you want to with the gear lever or the plastic paddles behind the steering wheel. You can drive this CX-9 as aggressively as you would a hot hatchback. Only in high-speed turns do you feel a little bit of roll. And it's a refined vehicle with having a good enough connection to the road, so it never beats you up on the highway or in town, but you're very aware of the road surfaces and how good of roads you're driving on. and that's just communicated with a little bit of vibration through the steering wheel and getting enough feeling in the cabin when you go over a zebra crossing like right there, or a little bit of patched up roadworks. Another thing they really haven't messed with is the exterior design. Still, to me, it looks incredibly handsome, and maybe even one of the best designed SUVs on sale today, if I'm being honest. The Kuro Edition blacks out a lot of the silver elements or the rosewood elements you'd see on some of the higher end trims of the CX-9, which to me isn't to my taste. Not that I don't think this is a dark or depressive space. Even with a small sunroof, Mazda still doesn't offer a full-size glass roof with the CX-9, and actually I don't think any of their vehicles at all at the moment. So if you're looking for a little more of a brighter space, I don't think the Kuro Edition is the right one, but the CX-9, as it is a lovely place to be. Wonderful materials in the inside really wouldn't make you feel like you're in sort of the mainstream class of cars. These are the kind of things you would expect to see in a vehicle with a much more expensive badge on it. But there's one very serious letdown that I have with the CX-9, and it all comes from this touchscreen. So for the 2020 model year, the higher trims of the CX-9 came with this 9-inch touchscreen, which really is just an upscaled version of the 7-inch screen that we saw in the last generation Mazda 3 or the current generation CX-5. And even from my relaxed driving position here, I can see the pixel edging. If I just go in a little closer, you can see the blockiness of it, and I think it's a real shame, because I think they really could have put more effort into this vehicle by bringing it up to speed with the latest things that we can find in the current Mazda 3 and CX-30. As a touchscreen, it's only a touchscreen when you're at a standstill. You still have to use the rotary wheel and the physical buttons down here when you're on the move, and it doesn't feel like it's a step back. If this was as sharp and as clear as a screen as I think it could be, then I would have no problems with it. And another area where the resolution will substantially let you down is the rear view cameras. They are atrocious. They are bad in the way that you compare them to premium cars or even cars at this price point. It's bad compared to filming with a toaster or a kettle. It's just incredibly low resolution, and I have experienced this exact problem with other Mazdas in the past that have then fixed that issue with the updated model year. So I'm surprised that they're lagging behind in this area with a totally different product. Just as it was in the past, the second and the third row space of the Mazda CX-9 is its biggest letdown, and even though it has a comfortable storage space, it doesn't have as clever of solutions of hiding away your things like its Korean counterparts. But the third row is reserved for children. The seats easily slide out of your way, and to give myself a little bit of knee and foot room, I could sit back there if I didn't have a head. That's where a lot of the problems come with fitting comfortably. So the Mazda CX-9 priorities are much different to what you will be shopping for in this class of car. If you're looking for space, practicality, it isn't going to be the absolute best vehicle for you. But if you're a single individual or a couple and you really don't need all of that space, I think the CX-9 is one of the best cars in its class. So that's where the biggest flaw of this CX-9 is that it doesn't really suit the main priorities of a mid-size 3-row SUV as well as its main competition. But if you're really never going to use that third row, if you're looking at a CX-9 just because it's a mid-size crossover, this might be one of the best on the market today. If you're a single individual or just a couple, never really needing all that much space, the CX-9 is without a doubt a segment leader. But you've got to know what you're looking for, because quite frankly, I can see a lot of people accidentally stepping into this car, realizing that they need a lot more space and utility and won't be totally satisfied with this product. So that's up to you to decide. But for me, I love this CX-9, especially this Kuro Edition with the wonderful interior and exterior finishing. It's one of the very few SUVs on sale today that I would actually buy with my own money. So that's been everything from me. Thank you so much for taking the time to watching this video. If you wouldn't mind liking and sharing and subscribing and all of that good stuff, it really helps me out a lot. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you on the channel again soon.